Pastor Greg here again, and wanting to talk with you about what about Christmas trees? Why do we use those? And what message can we find from them? Well, Christmas trees is really a thing that started in North America. It was in Germany and a few parts of Europe. Now, the modern practice we do stems from Germany. We see that they would, in Strasbourg, they decorate their trees with dolls and sweets and apples, wafers, gold foil, paper roses. And so when the German immigrants come in the 1700s, they bring this custom with them. However, in the United States, they would decorate the trees with animal cookies, apples, strings of popcorn, and colored paper. And then in the Revolutionary War, you have the German soldiers, the Hessians, who come over. And what happens there is they bring it with them as well. And they decorated their trees. Now, you have some German groups like the Moravians, and they would put candles in their trees. And by 1757, they were even putting candles in the windows. Now, Christmas trees start appearing in Cambridge, in Philadelphia, in Rochester, in Richmond, Worcester, Cleveland, between 1832 and 1851. And in America, the custom spread to England so that by 1841, Prince Albert now puts a tree up in Windsor Castle. And of course, he decorates it with sweets and candles and fruit and gingerbread, and it becomes the symbol of the season. So, by the early part of the 20th century, and with the invention of the electric bulb, trees appear everywhere. So why the tree? Well, you notice that they're evergreen. Evergreens brings the idea of life, especially in the time of winter. And for the Christian, we say our life is found in Jesus Christ. So the tree reminds us where our life comes from. It comes from Jesus Christ. Now, there was a lot of legends around the Christmas tree. I'll share a couple with you. For example, St. Boniface, which we have St. Boniface or St. Bonnie, the town, not far from us. He was an English monk who organized Germany and France's churches. And he was seeing a pagan sacrifice, and supposedly he slammed his fist against a tree and it just shattered, and it was an oak tree because they would use it as part of their pagan sacrifice. He shatters this tree, and then supposedly a tiny fir appears, and he called that the tree of life, which represented eternal life in Jesus Christ. Another one was, of course, Martin Luther. I talked about him a little bit, that he was walking through the woods. He saw the stars through the trees. And so he cut down a tree and put the lights on. So this is what I saw in the woods, but it also reminds me of Bethlehem. So you have that story. There is another one, a legend of a woodcutter. He finds a child, a hungry, cold child in the woods, and he takes the child home and feeds the child, clothes the child, and builds a fire for the child. And the next morning he gets up, he finds a beautiful, glittering tree outside his door as reward for taking care of the disguised Christ child. Trees were also used in the Middle Ages, and they were decorated to be used with plays that had biblical themes. And there was also a play called the Paradise Play, which talked about Adam and Eve and the fall, and they would take a green tree and put apples on it and tell the story of how Adam and Eve fell. So we have those connections, but the number one thing that those trees point us to is Jesus Christ and life found in him. Have you found your life in Jesus Christ? Have you thanked Jesus for the life he has given? I sure hope you'll take a moment and do that this Christmas. Have a great one.